And hello there. Welcome to a surprise stream. I did not plan on this. Um, but I realized that last night I had planned to get into a story time and I did not. So I'm going live for a few minutes to read a bedtime story. So this is something that I will be bringing back to my Thursday night streams in the future. And so I was going to record this, but you need a different level of um, registration, level of access on StreamYard, like the premium level, in order to access the recording feature. So I'm going to try this, and I'm just going to read this bedtime story to you. And tonight I am reading Beauty and the Beast. Here is the first picture. I'm not used to showing this on a screen where you can actually see the words. Isn't that great? So, once upon a time, there lived a beautiful young girl named Belle. She loved to read and could often be seen wandering through her village with a book. Belle lived with her father, Maurice, who was an inventor. One day, Maurice went to a fair. On the way home, a bad storm broke out, and he took shelter inside a dark castle. But the master of the castle was an angry beast, and once he discovered Maurice, he would not let him leave. Belle searched for her father when he didn't return home. She soon came to the castle and went inside. "Hello, is anyone here?" she called as she walked through the hallways. A wooden mantel clock and a fancy candelabrum were sitting on one of the tables. Or candle, I'll just say candle for that long word that I just said. Belle didn't see them, but they noticed her. "It's a girl!" cried Lumiere, the candle, once Belle had passed. He jumped to the floor. "She's the one! The girl we have been waiting for. She's come to break the spell." Many years earlier, Lumiere and Cogsworth the clock had been human, along with lots of the other objects in the castle. But their master, the prince, and his castle had been put under a spell. The servants had been changed into enchanted objects, such as the clock and the candle, while the prince had been turned into an awful beast. The spell could only be broken if, by his 21st year, the beast fell in love with a girl who loved him in return. Lumiere and Cogsworth followed Belle. Before long, she came to the dungeon where her father was locked up. "Papa!" she exclaimed. She knelt down to touch his hand. "You must go!" Maurice cried, but it was already too late. The beast had entered the room. Belle was not afraid, though. "I've come for my father. Please let him out," she said sternly. "He's my prisoner," Beast growled. Take me instead, Belle offered. You would take his place? The Beast asked, astonished. Belle agreed, and the Beast dragged Maurice from his cell and sent him away. On his way back to the dungeon, Lumiere suggested that his master find Belle a more comfortable place to stay than the cold, dark cell. The Beast was not hard-hearted, though his manners were rough and his temper terrible. When he saw Belle sobbing, he softened. Follow me, he demanded, and led her to a much nicer room. Dinner, Lumiere whispered in the Beast's ear. Invite her to dinner. You will join me for dinner, the Beast commanded, before he slammed the door shut. Soon some of the servants stopped by to introduce themselves. Mrs. Potts, the teacup, and her son, Chip, a teacup, offered Belle a spot of tea. She was surprised that the servants were enchanted objects, but she liked them at once. They couldn't convince her to go to dinner, though. Cogsworth finally broke the bad news to the Beast. She's not coming, he said. The Beast went to Belle's room and pounded on the door. I thought I told you to come down to dinner, he growled. I'm not hungry, Belle replied. Please, Cogsworth quietly urged the Beast. Attempt to be a gentleman. It would give me great pleasure if you would join me for dinner, the Beast managed. But Belle still said no. She would not eat with the creature who was holding her captive. The Beast stormed off. If she doesn't eat with me, then she doesn't eat at all, he roared. That night, Belle sneaked out of her room and tiptoed downstairs. When she went to the kitchen, a strange sight met her eyes. All the dishes, the pots and pans, the stove, and the silverware were alive, just like the other objects she'd met. They had been upset when she'd refused to come to dinner because they were eager to impress her. They were never guests at the castle anymore. I am a little hungry, Belle admitted. You are? Asked Mrs. Potts, who had been the castle cook. Wake the china. I'm not about to let the poor child go hungry. Belle had been hoping for a bite to eat. Instead, she got a full-blown feast. Beef and cheese, pie and pudding. Belle had never had such a meal. Her new friends treated her like a princess. After dinner, Belle wanted to explore. It's my first time inside an enchanted castle, she told the servants. Cogsworth and Lumiere led her around, showing her paintings, tapestries, and armor. What's up there? Belle asked when they came to a very long staircase. It was the West Wing, and everyone was forbidden to go there. Cogsworth and Lumiere tried to lead Belle in another direction, but she slipped by them and climbed the stairs. Behind the door at the top was a wreck of a room. Furniture was torn apart. A painting of a handsome prince was ripped down the middle. The only thing intact was a single rose under glass, and even its petals had started to fall off. Once the last petal fell from the rose, the spell over the castle could never be broken. But Belle didn't know about the spell. Suddenly, the beast's shadow fell over her. "Get out," he yelled, and started to smash things. Belle ran down the stairs, past Lumiere and Cogsworth. "Promise or no promise," she cried, "I can't stay here another minute." She dashed out the front door, grabbed her horse, and rode into the dark forest. But the forest was not safe. It was full of wolves. They chased after Belle. She tried to hold them back with a stick, but they snapped it in two. Suddenly, the beast appeared. He growled at the wolves and tossed them left and right. They bit his neck and clawed at his fur, but he managed to fight them off. At last, the wolves ran away. Since the beast had gotten hurt while protecting her, Belle didn't feel right about leaving. She took him back to the castle and nursed his wounds. "Thank you for saving my life," she said. Day by day, the beast and Belle got to know each other better. They ate together. They played in the snow together. One day, the beast shared his library with her. She had never seen so many books. And one evening, they danced together. The servants were overjoyed. They could tell the beast was falling in love with Belle, and Belle with the beast. But Belle was very concerned about her father's health. She wanted to go see him. Because the beast loved her, he decided to let her go, even though it meant he wouldn't be able to break the spell. With a last glance towards the beast, Belle left the castle and went to her father. When the villagers heard that the beast had captured Belle, they attacked the castle, even though she told them about how nice he'd been. Lumiere and Cogsworth came up with a plan to defend the castle. When the villagers stormed inside, some of the enchanted furniture fell on them. Teacups poured scalding tea on their heads. Cabinet doors flew open and knocked people down, and knives and forks soared through the air. The villagers ran out of the gates screaming, but during the fighting, the beast had been badly hurt. Belle returned to the castle to find him wounded and dying. Let's see, where are we? Here we are. "Beast," she cried, kneeling beside him. "Belle," he said, gasping, "you came back." He was weak, though, and soon his eyes closed. "Please don't leave me," Belle sobbed. Then, just in time, she added 3 magic words. Tiny comets showered down on the beast. As Belle watched, the beast's claws became hands, and his fur changed to human skin. He became the prince he once had been. Now that Belle had broken the spell, oh, he became the prince he had once been, now that Belle had broken the spell. "Belle, it's me," he said. She looked deep into his eyes. "It is you," she cried happily. Cogsworth, Lumiere, Mrs. Potts, Chip, and all the other servants returned to their human forms too. Belle leaned in and kissed her prince. Are they gonna live happily ever after? Chip asked. Of course, dear, Mrs. Potts said with a happy sigh. Of course. The end. And that, my friends, is the story of Beauty and the Beast. Thank you so much for watching. And as I mentioned, this will be a part of my normal Thursday night live stream coming here to YouTube starting this next Thursday evenings at 11:15 p.m. where I will chit chat, tell about my week, how things are going, uh, and read a story, and just have a good old time. Maybe talk about some Disney news or other news that might be happening in the world. Um, but for now, that will conclude this video. So thank you so much once again for watching. I would appreciate it if you gave the video a like and take care and have a wonderful day. And remember to follow the happy.